In this notebook, we'll take a look at the roster analysis of CS 439 for spring 2019. So the first activity before we start the roster analysis in Jupyter Notebooks is to do the data initialization. Now we assume that you can follow along with this video by typing these things into a new notebook. Now we assume that you have installed Anaconda and Jupyter on your machine. So the first thing we need to do is to initialize some of the Python libraries that are necessary for data analysis. We'll talk about more of these libraries in the next few lectures. Then we initialize, we read some data which are located in a CSV file into what we call a data frame. We'll talk more about these data frames in the coming lectures. Now these files are the roster files that are available only to the instructors. So there's a lot of private information in these roster files. So they cannot be made available to other people. This code concatenates the two rosters, in other words, recitation 1 and recitation 2, and take a look at the student field in this roster file. We notice that the students are listed here in the order they came, and the length of this list is 107. So with that, we assume that there are 107 students listed in this class. Let's take a look at the distribution of majors. We could write a function. You will learn how to write Python functions. And we could count the distribution of the majors. You can see that once you counted this, you have 198, which is the code for computer science, 80 of them here. And 198, in this case, we have listed the things in terms of a key, which can be the major and the count. We can also use some of the Python functions from collections. We import a counter and do the same thing without having to write our own function. So for the most part in this course, we will try to find functions that are already available through libraries and then try to accomplish what we need to do in our exercises. So let's plot this dictionary, which we have key and a value pairs, as a distribution of majors. So our plot shows some graph which shows that 198 is at a high peak here. Perhaps this is not the right graph. This is a continuous graph. It's not the right graph for visualizing this data. Let's do a histogram and try to see if that's going to help. Histogram seems a little bit better. We have a histogram which are in discrete intervals, but still we need some separation between the majors. So we can do that by using a few other techniques to get the majors clearly marked, 198, 332, and so on. So the highest major in this class is computer science, 332 is ECE, and 640 is math. Let's take a look at the distribution of minors. So it shows that the distribution of minors, most minors in this class, there are 19 minors, 19 students who have declared to be minors, and the other ones have no entries. So NaN means it's not defined, but we'll talk about some of these things, how to deal with these kind of data in our files. Let's take a look at the last name distributions. How are the last name distributed in this class? So we notice that the last name distributions, these are the possible last names in the class. And if you go through it, you can see that some last names like Patel are repeated. So there are 3 students with the last name Patel in this class. And so on. There's 2 students or 3 students with Lee, and so on. So this is really an important thing to look at. And also you can look at the first name distributions. So in the first name distributions, they're sorted by the first name. And you can see Matthew is quite a common name in this class. And let's take a look at the year of graduation. So it shows that most students who are taking this class are seniors, and there are few juniors registered for this class. So one data science question we can ask is, how can I find male and female distribution given my data file? The raster does not give any information about that. So the question is, can we train a machine learning model to guess if a given name is more likely to be a male or female name? That's an interesting question that we can answer as we learn some machine learning techniques. So you can slow down the video or pause the video and type what we have into a your own data for Python notebook and try to do these things. The only thing you don't have access to is the data files, which are private data files. So you might want to find some CSV files, replace them, and do an analysis as a practice for your own understanding. Good luck.